name is Freya, and hello everybody. Welcome to this webinar I'm doing with Janosch from Belgium/Holland. I'm very excited because in about 2 weeks he will come to Denmark and give us his very revolutionary and very intense workshop about self-love. And I've invited Janosch today to talk to him about who he is, where he comes from, and his mission. And also for you guys to get to know him before you come to this workshop, if you so decide to. So thank you very much, Janosch, for coming here, and thank you for taking your time.
Thank you, it's a pleasure.
So who are you?
Who am I? I'm just an ordinary guy in Holland. 12 years ago, I started to do this work, what I'm doing now. Before that, I had nothing with spirituality and this kind of things. And then it all came to the surface, and I'm traveling a lot. And I like to inspire people to follow their own dreams, their own passion, the soul calling. Why are they here on earth? And we do different projects for that. Basic message is sacred geometry.
And could you go just a little bit more into detail, because that's always so interesting. What made you start really exploring your spirituality and go that way instead of, where did you come from before?
That's quite a story. I was working in publicity and I was very focused on my career. I was very ambitious, beautiful house, beautiful car, and spiritual things for me was not interested. But I had some life questions, you know, when we die, where we go to, why some people are successful, some people are not with the same potential. But I didn't believe in spiritual things. And I thought my life was perfect. You know, I had a good income, good money, a good house, everything what I wanted, I had. And it was one day I was walking in Amsterdam in a big park, in the Vondelpark, and there was a homeless man coming to me. And I thought I need to run away. I don't like to connect with a homeless man. But he grabbed my arm and looked deep in my eyes. And he asked me the question, "Are you happy, my son?" And that was a shock, a real shock, because I thought everything was perfect. And at that moment, I experienced deep pain that I was not happy. You know, it looked perfect, but was it me? Was it my real soul purpose? And then the whole life started to change. Just that question in that park with the homeless man. And a few weeks later, I start to see the pictures. You see one behind me based on sacred geometry. When it was a little bit daydreaming, I start to see them. And I was ready to call my doctor because I thought I'm getting crazy, you know, it's something wrong. I work too hard. But I liked what I saw. So I start to make them on the computer, and I showed them to some friends, and they were deeply touched, and they said, "You need to do something with it." So I made, just for fun, a small web page with my hobby, my art, and I got a lot of reactions very quickly. It went right away over the world. People start crying when they looked at it, and I thought, what is going on here? You know, this is strange. And then there came a moment I started to hear her voice. And I was really shocked. I thought I was getting I was really ready to bitter. But I started to listen to his voice. And that was amazing. The voice was one of the Arcturians, he called him, extraterrestrials, that we as human beings are in competition in our communication with words. We trigger each other in our pain and our programs, so we don't move forward. And they start to explain me the power of sacred geometry, how we can use sacred geometry as a language of the soul. And so it all started, and I started working with it, and it changed totally my life. And I got very happy following my heart. And that's all how it started. And we start to create workshops, experiences. We work with sound, music based on sacred geometry, etc.
But can't you please explain to us, what is sacred geometry? Because when I see it, I can see its beautiful pattern. It looks a bit like a mandala. What is it?
Everything is sacred geometry. Everything in nature, we are sacred geometry. Maybe you heard about the golden ratio. It's a rhythm of nature. What creates perfection, what creates harmony. And everything is based on sacred geometry, the universe, plants, animals, we as human beings. And we lost that connection because we're all busy in our mind and we're running from A to B very quickly. So we have no connection anymore with that nature, with who we truly are. Sacred geometry, Plato, that's the Greek philosopher, already called it the language of the soul, and that's what it is. If we communicate with sacred geometry, we will touch right away our soul. It's a communication. Because words are based on competition, you know. Everything I share with you is not 100% pure because I have still backgrounds, I have still patterns to work on. And I give energy to my words. The way you're listening to me is the same. You filter my words. But sacred geometry, we cannot filter. It's right away going to our soul, to our subconscious.
So what does this painting, like the one behind you, what does it mean? And does it have like, does the different colors and the different patterns mean a certain thing?
Yes, it's based on the 5 platonic solids and the star tetrahedron. And this is the language, and the color is a language what give information. There's numbers in it, how many lines, how many lights. So there's a hidden language in the art what communicates and start to move energy. The one behind me is calling joy, to connect with the inner joy.
Can you just move just slightly bit to this, and then everyone can see that? Now they look at me. It's because of, yeah.
I will share later in this broadcast with you. I want to share with you an activation.
Yes, wonderful.
Understand what it is, and you can experience it.
So and it quickly become very popular now. You have, I just noticed your Facebook page has more than 42,000 people, so it's like all over. Why do you think that can I ask you again, how many years have you worked with this sacred geometry?
I worked now for 12 years with sacred geometry, but really going outside is since 7 years. The first 3-4 years, yes, was very searching for me because my biggest program I needed to work on is fear for rejection. So it was for me difficult to go on stage right away with a story what for me was strange, you know. And but then I saw what it does. I started with little groups, and then in 2005 it really went very quickly. 2006 I've been to the United States, to the United Nations 2 times to present, and then it went very quickly.
Wow. So we are very fortunate to finally have you in Denmark as well, to hear what you can do. It's also very interesting because we were just before we started the show talking about what year we are in now, and what is the special time we are in right now, because of course everything has a vibration as you're drawing. So what is, in your opinion, the special time we are in right now, and what are our challenges?
The special time is what Arcturians told me. That's the group of energies I communicate with and who show me these pictures. In 2012, we made a big shift. A lot of people were waiting for it and nothing happened, but they tell me that there happened a lot in energy and frequency. It started a new process. And that was the ending of karma. And the ending of karma means that we are free souls now. We have a choice. But we are very addictive to the past, addictive to programs, addictive to repeating studies, repeating learning. So things start to repeat in our life. And they say it's not necessary anymore. We can make choices. We can just choose what we want, and the whole universe will work with us. So they call it, we're going now in the time of manifestation. From 2012 until last year was a big cleaning. The cleaning is still going on, but the people who walk in front, the spiritual people, for example, who really already are connected with themselves, with the higher self, with the frequencies, they start to manifest. It's the time of manifestation. And I think it's a very interesting time. But a lot of things are going on. A lot of people experience funny things or heavy things, but it's leaving the past behind. That's the biggest pattern now.
And I also experienced that in sense of like times are kind of circular. I experience things again and again and again, like situations that open, situations that closes. And I guess that's because it's time to clean up those patterns that doesn't work. So
Yes.
that's why they're reinforced
Mhm.
again and again and again. Like
Yeah.
everything is
Only
super
the
reinforced right
yes,
now.
exactly. But the only pitfall we have is that we dig in it again. And I think it's just giving us information. Where do I come from, and what was my past? What did I learn? For that reason, things start to repeat to show you the whole picture. The pitfall of humanity is that we think we need to dig in it again. We need to learn it again, and we need to work through the same pattern again. But that's not necessary. So when things start to repeat, just be an observer and get information out of it. I've been there, I experienced it, I learned from it, and move forward. And that's also a pitfall in spirituality, that a lot of people think they need to feel it again and experience it again. And that's not true. That's a choice. Of course, if you choose that, then it's okay. But it's not necessary. I
Mm.
think, why not growing with fun? Why growing needs to be heavy? Let's make joy.
True,
Yeah.
true. There's so many also sayings like the way to enlightenment is through the darkest rooms. It's like there's a general saying that you have to really really be digging down in the dirt big time in order to be enlightened, and that's not your.
No, it's not my story. I think it was true 10, 20 years ago. But
Mm.
now, what I said, our soul is free, it's not necessary anymore. Why not making joy and send love, connect with love, and grow with that love and from that love? That's much more easy. Why the heavy way? Why we should choose that? It's not necessary.
Also, because when we experience things again that feels heavy, if we choose to react the way we did before, we kind of re-traumatizing ourselves into the same pattern, the same way of reacting again and
Exactly.
again and again. Yeah.
It's in your cell remembrance. So your cell remembrance gets activated, and the situation is there again. But why? What
Mm.
would it bring us? Let's move forward and
Yeah.
create beautiful things together in this earth, because it's an
Hail
amazing
for that.
planning. It's an amazing planet. We need to enjoy it.
That's also one of the things that I've been kind of preaching or spreading for the last 2 months. I really felt that whole thing that now is like the time where everybody stands into their queenhood or their kingdom. It's
Hmm.
now is the time we claim our life purpose and
Hmm.
really our power. This is the time we claim our power. And
Exactly.
because of that there's because I believe, as I was talking at one point with Marianne Williamson, and I asked her about life purpose, and she goes very deep, very big, and very deep, and she just says, "Well, my life purpose is the same as everyone else, which is to be but love."
Hmm.
And if everybody's life purpose basically is to be love and to stand into that power of being love, then everything that is not love will be enhanced at the same way in order to show the difference
Hmm.
and in order to come up to the light to be order to be healed.
Hmm.
So I feel that there's a huge ego thing going on at the
Yes,
same time
exactly.
as there's a huge awareness going on. So what
The,
is
the
what is your
ego,
opinion
the,
on that?
the ego thing is it's one of the biggest problem. What I said, the old energy is based on competition and duality, and that changed after 2012. But the way we communicate is still based on that old energy. Competition and duality is based who is right, who knows the truth, and are people hearing me, and do they take me serious? It's the old energy of competition. But this competition creates also that the cell remembrance start to react, that people who have fear for rejections or fear to get judged, the fear just gets activated right away because of the way we communicate. And I think we have only one purpose as a human being here, that is to be who we truly are and to do what we love most. That the only thing why we are here. And we all forgot that. We are busy with a lot of distractions. We are not focused on our own soul purpose. And love is the answer. Love is the key. And it starts with loving yourself. If you don't love yourself, you cannot love someone else in the world, because you need something from the other person, and we go in competition again, and the whole program starts again. So for me, self-love is the first key. And before I start to understand it was a long road, because I grew up in a small village and my father teach me behave normal, don't put your head above the, how do you say, the flowers, or how's the saying, not stand up too high.
Stand up in front of the crowd. You stand up
Yes.
from the crowd. Yeah.
Yes. And so I thought self-love is being arrogant. Self-love is being egoistic, but that's not true. Self-love is that you understand who you are and why you are here on earth, so that you start to be who you truly are. Without self-love, you cannot be who you truly are. And we are here to recognize ourselves again and to understand the reason why we're here, because everyone now who is on earth made a choice. The soul made a choice to be here at this moment. And why? That's the first question I ask a lot of people, why you are here on earth, you know? And for a lot of people, it's a strange question. For me, it's an interesting question. Why you are here? Why are you here on earth?
Well, I'm here on earth to spread love and light and connection. I guess it's the same as you.
Mm-hmm.
And I also ask people, how do you fit in?
Mm-hmm.
Because what's interesting is that, as I see it, all the struggles and all the pains we have is that because we try to fit into a system that
Exactly.
is not coherent with our soul and with our purpose.
Yeah.
There's
Exactly.
so many free souls.
But that's the old energy of duality and competition. You know, on a lot of workshops, I do crazy things and I teach people, be crazy, you know, be different. We don't have to fit in something. Walk on front and show the world, be different. It's much more powerful. It's because we all follow each other, and that's the reason we don't grow. So let's make the road for love and be different, be crazy, be nuts, you know. Then we start to create something new.
So how do you step out of that old vibration? Because if we are in a new time, and we all are, even though if you believe it or not, we are in a different time, as you say. How do we then let go of that old way of thinking? I mean, how do we set ourselves free?
We can make steps in that to feel and understand, what do I like, what gives me energy. If I have a meeting and I don't get energy from it, then it's not a right meeting for me. It's without judgment, you know. Don't judge anyone, but just create clarity. What gives me energy and what costs me energy when I'm getting tired from situation, and which situations gives me energy, just to start to understand, who am I, what is fitting with me, what is the right frequency for me. So we need also making choices. If things are not fitting anymore, say goodbye. Else we keep in a comfort zone what we don't like anymore, but we stay there because it gives comfort. But on the other hand, we get an inner struggle because we don't want to be there anymore. So also we need to make choices and say, this is not fitting anymore. It doesn't give me energy.
So we can always, I mean, that's the whole thing about acknowledging vibrations as well, and acknowledging that even though this was supposed to be what you really wanted, and if it doesn't feel right, I mean, really always go with that heart feeling. Follow your heart. Well,
Yes. It's not
we want
always simple, because we live in a society, but it's working more and more. And a lot of people enjoy what I do, and also there are a lot of people who don't like what I do. But that's the way, you know. It took me some years to learn this, to understand it, because in the beginning, what I told you, I had fear for rejections, and I took everyone serious. And now I don't judge anyone, but if it's not your road, so leave me alone, you know. I want to do what I love to do. And it's not the truth, because there is no truth. So let's stop also the competition, you know. Nobody knows the truth. I can only share how I experience things, but I cannot tell you I have the truth, because it doesn't exist. You know your truth in your heart, and that counts for everyone. And let's respect each other for everyone's own truth. No competition, no duality. I think then we can grow fast.
Can you tell us some of the most remarkable sort of breakthroughs you had with some of your clients or some of the people who has been attending your workshops or seeing your art? Do you have some
Yes,
story?
a lot of different stories. People who need to make choices. They want another job or are in a relationship and they keep in the old patterns. And with my workshops, with communication, with sacred geometry, they find their own answers. I don't give answers. Because as I said before, who am I to tell you what you need to do? I can only show you the road to find your own answers. And after workshops, people really feel empowered and they make choices, they move forward. People with illness, because I believe we don't have to be ill. Ill is an outcome of how we live our life, how we think, how we create our future. We influence our DNA and our DNA influence our body. So also we can heal ourselves. And so we have so much power inside. So I saw a lot of miracles happen when people really go to their potential and they really go to their inner power. They can heal themselves. I've seen a lot of miracles. But to be clear, I don't heal them. I don't heal people. I'm not a healer. I'm not a guru. I'm not a master. I just want to share with people the road to go to their own inner power, because I believe the time of gurus and masters is really over. I think everyone needs to be their own master, and that's my message.
Beautiful, beautiful.
No, but I needed to learn it. In the beginning, when I start to communicate with Arcturians, maybe this is a nice story. I asked them,
Can
why
you
did
just say them again? Who are they and where do they come from?
Arcturian are extraterrestrials? They're, you can say, a group of angels. They are not from this earth. Say it in that way. And in the beginning, I asked them, why did you choose me to bring this message? Because I had nothing with spirituality. You know, you could choose so many people. Why you choose me to start this communication?
You were a publisher.
And they told me, you are not ready to get this answer. And so I started to think, my ego started to think, I was thinking, maybe something very special is in me or from our last life. And then after a year, when the success was coming and the energy starts to flow, I asked them again, can you tell me why you choose me to do this job? And they told me, you are not ready to get that answer. And then my ego started to grow, like, I think I'm very special because they choose me, something very, maybe I'm a very high soul because they choose me to do this job. And then after a few years, they gave me the answer, and it was a big bummer. They said, we choose you because we knew you would like it. And that was the only reason, and that's all about in life. If you do what you like, you will have success.
Yes.
But for me, at that moment, when I was still a little bit in my ego, it was a boomer. I thought that will becoming a nice story, but it was just very simple.
But it is also very simple because, because you had a task and you liked it, then of course you get great success with it. I mean, I've always also experienced friends who have, they also communicate with all kinds of people and they can't contain it. I mean, it's too much. So it was just perfect fit that you had both the talent and the gift, and apparently the passion for it.
Yeah, and passion. You call now the name passion. Passion is very important. Without passion, we cannot move forward. And maybe also, if you like stories, I like to tell stories. And if I go too far, just stop me, okay? Also, they asked me in the beginning, connect with your passion and the road will be open. And I asked the question, what is passion? I didn't know what passion is. How do you follow your heart? It's inside. How can I follow it? And they said, we give you 3 keys, and it's maybe nice to share with your friends. They said, we give you 3 keys to follow your passion. And the first question was, when are you very excited? At what kind of moments you're very excited? And I said, I know. I love music. Music can touch me very deeply. So when I hear a new song or new music, I'm getting excited. And I call my friends, you need to hear this, this special music. And then the Arcturians told me, then you have your first key to passion. I said, but what a strange key, because I cannot play an instrument and I don't want to be a DJ, you know, what can I do with this key? And they say here is the biggest pitfall, because every human being always is busy with what he don't want. And we ask you just a simple question: what makes you excited? First key. The second key they gave me was, when are you most comfortable? In which situation you're most comfortable? And I said, oh, I know, I like to be alone. I like to be behind my computer, making art, writing stories. And they said, then you have your second key. And again, I didn't understand this key, because how can I make a living sitting behind my computer? I don't want to make programming for computers and that kind of things. And again, they said, why you say what you don't want? Just let it go. And then it gave me the third key. And the third key, when are you very impatient? And I said, oh, I know that answer too. I'm very impatient when I book a holiday. I like to travel around the world. I like to meet people. I like to meet cultures. And they said, then you have your three keys to passion. And I didn't understand it, because I thought, strange key, you know, I don't want to have a job in the traveling companies, you know. But then they told me, let it go, forget it. Only thing is, every little step, every choice you make needs to fit in one of these three keys. So I did. Every step, every choice I made needed to fit in one of these keys, and I did. And then a year later, I start to understand, because I start to travel. You know, I went to America, Canada, Australia to give my workshops. And in my presentations, I share my favorite music. And when I'm not traveling, I'm behind my computer making new art. So I found my passion because of these three keys. And that's what I want to teach people. Go outside the box, you know. If I needed to think 10 years ago, what is my next step? What would I love to do? I would not find the answer. But we need to go outside the box.
And also a very important thing in that thing you just told me, and I, as a passion test facilitator, we work a lot with passions and how to find your passion. And what is very crucial is that whole part where they said, let it go, just let it go.
Exactly.
Because that whole thing about leaning back and then not waiting for things to happen, you can still work your way to it, but co-create and be relaxed about it. So how did you manage to stay patient?
Yeah, that's difficult. I'm a very impatient person. But what I told you, every little step I choose was fitting in one of these three keys. And for the rest, I didn't wait for an outcome, because that was my biggest lesson: to do things without a reason, without wanting an outcome, but just because you feel it. That's the only reason. And then there's coming energy starting to flow. So I just made choices based on these three keys, and then suddenly the project was there.
And also, you also said that you were discovering how some people got success and others didn't. Can you share a little bit about that discovery?
Yeah, because I do also company trainings with sacred geometry. What I found out, that a lot of people who are not successful are not working with the heart. I saw a pattern in this. When people, maybe when you were 5, 6 years old, already as a child, adults start to ask you, what do you want to be when you grow up? At that moment, we start already to make a box. We need to make choices. And when we grow up, we get a lot of times this question, what do you want to be when you grow up? So we start to create that program. We need to make a choice. And a lot of choices are based on what is expected by us, you know, what we think we need to do. But that's not from the heart. And if we start to create from this pattern, we cannot have success, because it's not our flow, it's not our soul purpose. So it's a struggle. You know, we need to fight for it. We need to work hard for it. And that's also what I learned. My dad learned me also, you need to work hard, you need to be ambitious. And when I started this project, I was feeling guilty, you know, to be successful, and I didn't experience working. I was playing the whole day. So I felt a little bit guilty, like, this is not good. I need to work hard, you know, I need to fight for it. And I was playing, and that was not okay. That's so deep in our system that we need to make choices. And only choice we need to make is to connect with our heart and connect with our feeling. What gives me energy? What makes me happy? What gives me love? And then we will get successful.
And the money will follow.
Exactly. Money is energy. Money is energy of freedom. But a lot of people have so much tension on money, and that's also against their road, that's also becoming a struggle. Money is an outcome of passion. Money is energy.
So money, and is money also directly linked to the way you love yourself, to
Of
self-love
course,
and
of course,
self-esteem?
of course. Self-esteem says everything. What are you worth? Which kind of value you give to yourself? What kind of value you give to your feelings, to your thoughts? Uh, Value will express later in money. But if you don't put value on who you are, and you don't put value on your own feelings, then there will come no money, because money is the outcome of that frequency.
So that's why you have to actually be able to really set yourself worth something and know your
Exactly.
own self-worth and your
Yes.
own price.
And then we
That's
come
the
back to
only thing you
self-love.
can actually get.
Yes. And then we come with the same story again to self-love. How much do you love yourself without being arrogant or egoistic? Just that you take yourself serious. And then we come to self-love. And then from self-love, we can start to create our future in a totally different way.
So it's not just important, it's like super important that people start working with their self-esteem and their self-love.
I think
Also
that
because,
that's the biggest first step.
yeah,
Without trusting ourselves, without self-love, we cannot make the right choices.
no.
Because then the choices are based on what our surrounding expect from us. So we have fear for rejection, and we make choices based on that. And that's not the truly you.
True.
So, and I think when we create self-love, we start to bring love back to the earth. And that's my bigger passion. That's my bigger dream, to be a little part of it, to bring love back to the earth. I think every human being deserves love and recognition, and we can start doing this to start with self-love. If we start self-love, we start to understand more of others, because if you have fears for something, you get mirrors in your life and you start to judge the mirrors, you start to judge other people. We start again the competition. But if you are in self-love, nobody can hurt you anymore. So you understand why people react the way they react, and you can just send them love for their programming, for their own fears, what they project.
So you can also, I mean, self-love is actually the key to quitting all drama in your life.
Exactly. Exactly. Because if I really go for self-love, I don't accept drama anymore in my life, because I feel I'm worth it to enjoy life. I'm worth it to have joy and love in my life. Why should I
Yeah.
choose drama?
Yeah, your time is way too precious and your gifts are way too precious. Yeah,
Exactly.
that makes very much sense.
And maybe it's
Beautiful.
nice to give you an experience what is an activation, how we work. If you have mandalas, that's the best thing to explain it. The mandalas are 100% perfect sacred geometry. And if we look at it or we color them, we get very quiet. It's kind of a meditation. What I want to do, I want to activate certain frequencies, because there are a lot of information in all of us, but it's sleeping because of the programming. My sacred geometry is not 100% perfect. It's 9 degrees out of line. But our subconscious thinks in pictures, and our subconscious makes everything perfect. So our subconscious starts to make the line perfect. At that moment, energy starts to move and it starts to communicate. As I said, the colors, we use music, certain megahertz music, what is based on sacred geometry and based on the golden ratio. Maybe you heard about certain tones like alpha tones, beta tones, theta tones. Now, we use that kind of things also in activation. A lot of people experience an activations as the same feeling as they have after a few hours of meditation. Because if you start to meditate and you go inside, it takes a while before you really touch your inner self. Because there are thoughts all over the time, and we need to let go the thoughts, and then we go deeper and deeper. And activation takes between 8 and 11 minutes, and stops right away the thinking, brings you right in a flow to go to the road inside. And what I want to share with you today is creation. Activation creation has a lot of influence on the second chakra. And the second chakra has to do with self-esteem, loving yourself, etc. Who am I? And this activation will activate frequencies and energies in your second chakra to connect with your creation. What do you want to create on this earth in your life? What is your tool to be who you are? So creation is the activation I want to share. And if we start, I ask always to do 5 times a deep breathing, to go deep inside. Breathing is very important. And breathe into the nose, out to the mouth, and then I let people focus on the center. Also, you will see 2 holograms next to each other, then you focus between them. Because also what we do is to activate the right and left brain. Because our feeling, inner knowledge needs to become one line, else we get naive. So it's a hard feeling, but also we want to attach to your knowledge, else the past was for nothing. We learn from our past. So if you see 2 holograms, we want to combine the right and left brain with each other. And you focus on the center. And at the moment when the colors are out of it and the picture gets black and white, you close your eyes and you do again the 5 times breathing. And you stay with your eyes closed until the music stops. And you just connect with every tone and music you hear, because there is also a language for your subconscious. And I can have a long story about it, but maybe it's better to give you an experience.
I would love that.
Okay.
So you can just, in the chat here, you can just chat the link. Oh, there it is.
I put it there, and let's prepare it together, and then you can go there.
Wait. I actually opened it right now. I don't know if I opened it for everybody. I think I did. I think I opened it for everybody. Can you see it now?
No. I see you.
You see me. Okay. Wait a second then. Can you just write it here in the chat room, chat box up here in the end? Not open. Okay. What's the?
I see on the left.
In the chat room?
In the chat room, I put a link if people click there. But before they click, I want to explain a little bit more about activation, and then we can start maybe together. Because also the power of an activation is that we all go in the same frequency. And in other dimensions, there is no distance in time or the distance. So if we do an activation together on the same time, our soul gets connected at that moment, because we choose the same frequency. And then it gets more powerful. So when we start and people click, I want to ask everyone just to close their eyes for a few seconds.
But before you do it, please, there's no link, because for some reason it just came here and I opened it, but it's not open there. Just wait, maybe I can just, this video is hidden, Okay, here we go. I'm just putting the link there. Now I have the link. Okay, so now I have the link here. So you can just prepare us now, and then we all click at the same time. Is that how we do it?
Yes.
Great.
So I want to ask you to close your eyes for a few seconds for preparation. And follow your breathing. Just try to breathe through your belly, because most of times our breathing is too high. So try to breathe to your belly and follow the breathing. And just put intention to connect with everyone who is online right now. And we can do it by visualizing little golden lines to everyone who is online right now. So we go together in this frequency of creation. And with this activation, I want to inspire you to connect with what do you really want to create in your life? What is your passion? What is your biggest desire? And when you press the link at that moment, you make your screen full screen and you put your sound loud because we work with music. And you focus on the center of your screen and you do 5 times a deep breathing into your nose and out to your mouth, and you stay focused on the center. At the moment when the picture is getting black and white, you close your eyes and you stay connected with the sounds. And when the music stops, you do again 5 times the deep breathing and you open your eyes, and then I will be back with you. It takes around 11 minutes. I hope you have a beautiful journey. Let's click and let's start the frequency of creation.
Okay.
Enjoy.
Wow.
It's good to stretch a little bit and to take care of your ground very well, because it moves a lot of energy after activation. I hope you enjoyed it.
It was very interesting feeling those like beats kind of summing above your head. I've never experienced music like that, that it's kind of...
It's special
So many...
channel music. It's based on different megahertz frequencies, what all influence our body, and also opens up the communications with your higher self. To really connect with your soul, why I'm here, you know, to not to bring information, but to activate your own information. Because what we see is just 10% of who we are. There is much more who we are, and let's get activated to get more overview. And so every activation has a different meaning, a different goal. And I want to share this one to go to the second chakra and to feel what is your creation.
Also because we live in a time now where, as you say, we move away from ego living competition into creating and co-creating more and more and more and more. So let's, activate that.
Yes, and not to want so much knowledge. You know, we are so searching for more and more knowledge, but knowledge is confusing us. What I said before, the truth does not exist. And what is the truth today can be different tomorrow. So let go knowledge, you know, just let us experience ourselves and experience who we are. And that's much more important. You know, don't want to learn anything, just explore. Who are you?
Yes. So instead of learning, it's also what Marianne Williamson said when I talked to her. She was that our life is more about unlearning than learning. Yeah.
We have a lot of habits, what takes us away from who we are.
I'm just writing here. If you want to come, you can book tickets through Hands. You can also do it through Inge Connecte, but here you can just book directly to Hans, who was also the organizer for Baptiste Pap's visit here in Denmark, and he is bringing you here for the Ballroom and Trotters event. And can you, before we say goodbye, tell us a little bit about what you can expect on that day and when it is and how much the time?
What it is, it's an afternoon. I think it's from 2 to 6. I don't know exactly the times. But what we do is to connect with self-love. So I have a presentations to bring us in a certain state. I will explain how it works. I will explain things about the power of sacred geometry. And then we do a lot of different activations. We do rituals, special rituals to, we will laugh together, we will cry together, because we go to different certain layers. But the outcome will be that you feel what is self-love. How does it feel? How can I experience this before I can move further? I need to know what it is. So I want to give people that experience to connect with their self-love, and it will be amazing. And I'm really looking forward to come to Denmark. I have one stop before. Tomorrow I leave to Kiev in Ukraine to give some workshops, and then I'm ready to come to Denmark. And I'm really looking forward to it, to bring it to your country and to bring love back to the earth together.
I have this thing just before we end, that I have this idea that we are many. I mean, you are pretty astral, so therefore I can say that to you and the people listening, that it seems like we are many people right here in this incarnation who comes from another world where it is very blissful and where there is a lot of beauty and where there is a lot of love and co-creation. And it's like, I think that is definitely my calling, to make this place look like the place I come from, if you can say that. And
I think we all have that desire. We all have a small remembrance that this is the way, but we don't know how. So let's help each other. Let's inspire each other without judgment, just to explore what is fitting with me, what is fitting with you, and let's dance together, you know, and create from that love, starting with self-love, else we cannot move forward.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank you
you
so
very
much
much.
for taking this time.
Thank you very much. It was a
Talk to
pleasure
you
for me.
soon. Good, I'm glad. And everyone else, I will send. You will get a link with the replay of the webinar, and I will also write you the link to his to Janosch's YouTube channel, so you can see more about him and listen to more activations before you come on Sunday the 20th, where I hope to see you all. So it was a pleasure, and have a great day.
Thank you
Take
very
care.
much. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.